Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll continue with our course about investment and portfolio management. The course code is MGT 531 and today's lecture number is lecture number 29. And reference book is the same as we have been doing in previous lectures. That was written by Christina in 2010 and it was about the investment analysis and portfolio management. First of all, we will discuss the summary points of the last lecture, that what we did in the last lecture. In the last lecture, we did the psychological aspects in investment decision making. We did the overconfidence and the plus and negative points of overconfidence, that how the overconfidence is likely to benefit the individual investor in his portfolio management and keeping different items and stocks and bonds in his portfolio. And what is the negative impact of being overconfident as far as decision making about the purchase of different items and different stocks and instruments and bonds is concerned for the setup portfolio management and portfolio holdings. And then we discuss the disposition effect, that what is the disposition effect, and how we can say that if we have regret and if we have the optimistic approach and joyful approach, then what are the consequences of it, what is the meaning of regret and what is the meaning of the joy or happiness or showing of the player as a result of any positive outcome. And we know that overconfidence, definitely it is good if we are likely to have positive outcome of our decisions, but sometimes overconfidence is likely to give us and is likely to avoid us negative impact of our decisions. For example, when we become overconfident, we think that whatever we are doing is good, and we have a lot of knowledge and we overestimate our knowledge, we think overvalued our knowledge, our sense in order to undertake the decisions and other things in the similar relevance. And what happens that we continue to do the decisions which sometimes may happen and may create losses to us, and that is why we can say that overconfidence is not much good thing. And we should have moderate style, and we should continue our decisions and keep our decisions in a moderate environment rather than being confident, because when we become overconfident, we think that whatever we are doing is right and we can do whatever we can do will be right and will have positive results. But it happens that we have to bear the losses, we have to face the losses, and that will create the desperate situation, and definitely which will negatively impact the person. And disposition effect, that we have two types of effect of our decisions. One type is of regret and second type is we enjoy the outcome of our decisions. And why we regret? Basically, regret is the result of having negative outcome or losses out of our decisions and out of what we have decided to do. Then as far as this particular course is concerned, we can say that we basically regret with respect to our decisions about the investment and purchases in our portfolio and in our portfolio holdings. And on the other hand, we have the feelings of pleasure, feelings of happiness and joy with respect to outcomes of our decisions and with respect to the results of our decisions. And then we have the perception of the investment risk, that whenever there is a risk, there is any type of investment, we have two outcomes associated, two factors which are important to be associated with our investment, and they are known as return and risk. And as far as return is concerned, it is the positive outcome in monetary terms, and risk is also indicates the risk or the fear of loss which is associated with our investment decisions. Then we will discuss the contents of our 2 days lecture. The 2 days lecture comprises of cognitive dissonance, mental accounting and investment, sunk cost effect, mental budgeting, emotions and investment. That what is the relationship between the emotions and investment. And reference book we have discussed already. And what is cognitive dissonance? It is closely related with the memory problems affecting the investor behavior in cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is based on evidence that people are suggesting and they are struggling with two opposite ideas in their brains. I am nice, but I am not nice. We can say there are two conflicting ideas, there are two conflicting factors as far as our thinking is concerned. And these factors basically they have the platform to work in our brain, and it is sort of our thinking. On one hand, we say that whatever we are doing is good, whatever we are doing is having it's likely to have positive outcome. On the other hand, we think that what we are doing is not good, and what we have decided was not a good decision and is likely to have bad outcome. This is a sort of psychological effect which is the result of our thinking and result of our brain. To avoid psychological pain, people used to ignore or reject any information that contradicts with their positive self-image. For example, we can say that we have two types of images which are related, situations which are related with the personality of any person. And what these images are, one is that we have good personality, we have good decisions, we are likely to have good style and positive approach to do anything. And in other words, we can say that we are brilliant enough, we have a lot of information, lot of knowledge and lot of experience out of that, and with the help of all these things we are able to undertake good decisions, we are able to have the decisions which give us positive outcomes and optimistic outcome and upwardly sloping results. And this is basically the self-assessment of and self-image about the personality of ourselves. And this particularly we can say that it is the positive side of positive self-image of our personality. And what happens as a result of this, we say that what we have done is nice, what we have done was a wise and rational decision. On the other hand, we can say that what is the contradictory situation in this respect, and what is on the other hand situation prevailing here, that is that what we have decided is not good. Or we can say that what I have decided was not a good decision, and my knowledge is not as much as required in any type of decision making, and my study is not as much as is required or as any other person is having. My experience is not as much as the others are having. Therefore, this creates basically a type of a sense of rejection of our positive aspect of our personality. And these are two conflicting situations which are conflicting with each other, which are fighting against each other, and which are likely to emerge and raise conflicting arguments against each other. As far as the personality of one person is concerned, these are basically the part of our thinking, and these arguments and these thoughts are part of our psychological aspect of our brain. And what happens that when we see that negative aspects are emerging a lot out of this type of thinking or this type of conflict, so we basically avoid those psychological pains and those psychological negative impacts which are likely to ignore our personality, which are likely to minimize our personality. And in other words, we can say that we reject any information and ignore any information that contradict and conflict with our positive self-assessment, with our positive self-image. And we do not accept those arguments, we do not accept the informations, we want to ignore them, and we want to minimize them, which are likely to negate our personality, which are likely to negate the positive aspects of our personality. The avoidance of cognitive dissonance can affect the investor's decision-making process in two ways. So we can say that this aspect, which is cognitive dissonance, can affect the decision-making process of the investor with reference to two aspects and with reference to two sides. First is that investor can fail to make important decisions because it is too uncomfortable to consider the situation. And we can say that investors, they do not make the important decisions because they think that they are uncomfortable to consider to understand the situation, and they do not undertake the decisions which he or she should take. because they think that they are not having proper information, they are not having proper understanding of the situation and the environment. And second is filtering of new information limits the ability to evaluate and monitor investors' decision. So we can say that filter of the new information is limited. We do not have the modern or latest or new information to a greater extent, or we do, in other words, we can say we do not have a lot of new information, lot of latest information which with the help of which we can evaluate and monitor our decisions as an investor. And investors seek to reduce psychological pain by adjusting their beliefs about the success of past investment decisions. So we can say that they basically how they avoid the pain of which is known as psychological or emotional pain by adjusting the beliefs and by adjusting their thinkings about the success of the past investment decisions. And if they had made some certain past decisions and which they found that they were not good decisions and the outcomes were not positive, outcome was not benefit giving to the investor, like rather it was leading towards loss and risk for the investor. And what the investor investor can reduce the psychological pain or emotional harms associated with that particular type of thinking and about the past decisions by just ignoring the thinking and by just neglecting the thinking. Definitely there is no other solution except that the individual neglect this thinking and ignore the thinking in order to keep his personality and keep himself in relaxed situation and comfortable with the situation. And for example, if the investor made a decision to buy N company stocks, for example, we can say that there are a number of the companies and there is particularly one company which can be known as the N company, and individual decides to purchase these stocks of that particular N company. Over time, information about the results of this company were good and validate the past decisions, and investors feel that I am nice. And what is particularity and speciality of this particular N company? We can say that if we look at the past information, if we look at the past data available with reference to this particular N company, we can find that the previous record of the company gives us that the stocks were having good outcome, and the investment in the stocks of this company were the profit giving and were beneficial and proved beneficial for the investors. That is why, in the light of this experience, in the light of this data available for the history of this particular company's different aspects, for example about the different variables of the company, the individual investor has decided to purchase the stock of this particular company, or in other words we can say has decided to invest in these shares of that particular company. And in the light of the information available with reference to this company, the individual investor thinks that he has done well, and his decision is nice and his decision is good and he is comfortable with reference to and with respect to his decision. Then, but if the results of the picked up company were not good, and what happened? For example, we can say that if he picked the company and the past record is very good and proved to be good as far as the returns are concerned, and as far as the risk associated is concerned, as far as the other factors associated with the trade of in the shares of this particular company is concerned. But what happens with the investment in the shares of this N company for this particular investors? If the outcome may be harmful, may be loss giving to the investor in the shares of this company, and he becomes shocked. And that is, the investor may become in shock that when he find that he is likely to have loss, he is likely to have likely to suffer from the risk after investing in the shares of this company. And while it was not happening in the previous record of these shares of the stock of this particular company, so he can decide that his decision was not good. He can decide after finding the outcome and after having the outcome of this company that his decisions are not nice and he is not nice anymore. the investor tries to reduce the cognitive dissonance. So he will try to reduce the cognitive dissonance, the investor, that is the pains associated with the negative aspects and with the harming aspects of this particular investment outcomes. And the investor brain will filter out or reduce the negative information about the company and fixate on the positive information. And how he uses the cognitive dissonance and how he will try to come out of this desperate situation. He will try to come out of this loss giving situation, that he ignored the information, he ignored the thinking that is painful for him, and that is creating discomfort to him, and he will concentrate on the factors which are likely to make him comfortable, and he will concentrate on the factors and on the outcomes which are likely to relax him as far as investment is concerned, and he will try to keep himself happy. He will try to keep himself with the joy outcomes and with the play rather than being in the painful situation. And this is the sort, we can say, that with the help of cognitive dissonance he will be able to come out and will be able to recover the situation. Investor remembers that he has done well regardless of actual performance, and we can say that another aspect with the help of which he will be able to make himself comfortable, he will be able to make himself relax, is that he just remembers that he has done well and his decision was so good as compared to the actual performance of the stocks and actual trends which he is observing as far as the buying price, selling price and returns of the stocks are concerned. And this is the way, this is the method with the help of which he will be able to come out this situation. He will be able to overcome his desperate situation and painful situation, and he will make himself happy and relax. And obviously it is difficult to evaluate the progress seeking for investment goals objectively. That it is not very easy to evaluate and to test the progress seeking for investment goals objectively. Definitely individual tries to make the objectives, he tries to set the goals which are likely to give him profit, which are likely to be beneficial for him. Therefore we can say that if he can make such decisions which are likely to give him benefit or the profit at the end or capital gain at the end, so we can say he is basically likely to have a progressive situation. But it is difficult to evaluate the progressive situation in advance, that the goals he is trying to set are, and the objective he is trying to set, they are of the progress, and they will lead to progressive situation for the investor. He can just definitely he can assess the situation to some extent, but not completely. It is not possible for him to evaluate and assess the progressive outcome of his goals on the whole or on aggregate. When assessment of past performance is biased upward, what is this situation, and what is the basically factors which can affect, what type of environment can affect the positive goal, or are likely to raise and likely to increase the negativities of his decisions and negative outcomes. On the other hand, we can say this is when the individual assess the past performance of the trends of the stocks or past behavior of the in the trends of the stock. For example, what have been the returns of the stock, what have been the cost associated, what have been the risk associated, and other factors. For example, if the individual assess that past performance was very good and the stocks and shares of particular company has been performing very good as far as their returns are concerned and as far as their facilitation towards the investor is concerned. So it may happen that we assess the past performance and past experience of the behavior of the assets of any firm as a upward bias, and this indicates a bias upward. In other words, we can say that we have estimated these as overestimate. We can say that we were overconfident about the outcomes of this particular stocks, and we were having over confidence and over assessment as far as the outcomes of the behavior of this particular stock were concerned. And then we have another important topic which is known as mental accounting and investment. What is mental accounting and investment? People use financial budget to control their spendings. And what is the financial budget? Basically, financial budget is it can be seen and can be analyzed in terms of the economic budgets, in terms of the monetary terms, to control the spendings of the individual. Definitely, when the individual set a budget, he will properly analyze and study his resources, the aggregate amount of resources and sources of the resources and funds, and on the other hand he will evaluate and analyze his spendings properly and in proper way, and he will compare the revenues and the cost of spending and overall revenues he is having. And when he compare, he can undertake optimal decision. He will try to keep his spendings and expenditures within the limits of his budget resources. Therefore, we can say that individual use financial budget to control his spendings, that he will try to keep his spendings within the limits of his budget and outlays. The brain uses mental budget to associate the benefit of consumption with the cost in each mental account. So what happens that besides having the financial budget, besides having the budget in monetary terms and economic terms, we have the mental budget that is within the scenario and within the context of the brain of the individual. So we can say that brain uses mental budget to associate the benefit of consumption with the cost in each mental account, that the benefit of the consumption they are associated with the cost individual is bearing as in terms of his mental account, in terms of his thinking and psychological aspects. Keeping our discussion with the mental budget, we say that mental budget matches the emotional pain to the emotional joy. So what is the mental account? In the account we have the mental budget. And what is the mental budget? That we have two types of factors over here. One factor is associated with the emotional pain and psychological pain and psychological discomfort and distress, and on the other hand we have the emotional joy. That is the second factor of the mental budget. And we can say that if we discuss the budget in terms of the monetary, we have revenues on one hand, we have the cost on the and our spending on the other hand. And revenues indicates are the plus point, that we are having resources to spend and we have the funds to spend, and on the other hand we have the ways in which we have to make the spendings and amount of the money which we will spend. And we compare these two factors with each other, and we will try to keep the revenues cost within the limits of our expenditures. What happens over here? For example, if we say that monetary budget or economic budget is concerned, so we have the revenues. एक तरफ हमारे पास revenues हैं और one factor, और दूसरा factor हमारा जो है वो हमारे spendings हैं, और ये spendings हमें क्या indicate करते हैं कि we have to spend. एंड जब हम स्पेंड करते हैं डेफिनेटली तो हमारी मनी जो है वो खर्च हो जाती है. वी कंपेयर बिटवीन दीज टू. तो वी इफ रेवेन्यूज आर इक्वल टू द स्पेंडिंग, अगर स्पेंडिंग रेवेन्यूज के इक्वल है तो वी हैव बैलेंस बजट. इसको बैलेंस बजट कहते हैं. इफ रेवेन्यूज आर ग्रेटर देन स्पेंडिंग वी हैव budget in surplus, or when the revenues are less than spending, तो we can say that budget is in deficit. तो ये हमारा बजट जो होता है वो डेफिसिट में होता है जब revenues are less than spending. We are having more spending than the revenue, so this is sort of deficit in the budget. Similarly, we can decide about and we can analyze the mental budget. As far as mental budget is concerned, we can say that we have again two factors. On one side we have the emotional pain, which are known as emotional distress, which indicates the level of worries of the individual, and emotional pains on one hand, and secondly we have emotional or psychological joys or pleasure or happiness. And if we compare these two, अगर हम इन दोनों को इमोशनल पेन को और इमोशनल जॉयस को आपस में कंपेयर करें, if they are equal, emotional pain is the same as the emotional joy, and we can say we can compensate the one factor with the other, and we can adjust the pain with the help of the joy. If we say that pain is greater than our emotional joy, so this is definitely a deficit situation or distressing or worrisome situation, and create the pain overall to the individual. if we say that our pleasure is higher, our emotional joy is higher than our pain, we can say we are happy and we are in good position, we are in optimistic environment, we are in positive environment. So mental budget matches the emotional pain to the emotional joy in this respect. We can consider the pain of financial losses similar to the cost associated with the purchase of the goods and services. We can say that as far as monetary budget is concerned, we have when we have to pay and when we have to spend on something, that will be the cost, and we consider we have economic losses, and we can say we are likely to have the financial losses. And then this is a sort of the cost, this is a sort of the pain associated with the purchase of the goods and services, with the spendings on the goods and services. Similarly, on the other hand, the second aspect of the budget or the mental budget or the mental accounting is that the benefit or the joy of financial gain. That is, if we have the financial gain, if we have capital gain, if we have positive, for example, aspect of our investment decisions, we get the profit, we get the benefit, we have the joy, we feel pleasure, we feel happiness, and out of this benefit, and this is the same as the joy or benefit of consuming goods and the services. So we can say that when we spend on the goods and services, definitely it is a sort of spending, and it is associated with the cost, and it is, as far as the emotions are concerned, as far as the psyche of the individual is concerned, we can say that psychological and emotional pain is associated with this. On the other hand, when we consume the goods, when we purchase the goods and services, we have the utility out of that. We can feel the pleasure with the consumption of these goods, and pleasure is basically the emotional joy, and it is the second factor as far as the emotions are concerned. And we can say that as far as the mental accounting and mental budgeting is concerned, so these are two important aspects of the mental budgeting, and which can be associated with the budgeting in the monetary terms. People do not like to make payments on debt for a purchase that has already been consumed. So this is a sort of displeasure or unhappiness associated with making the payments. That is, we can say that if we have purchased the commodities on leasing, and in other words, we can say if we borrow money and we purchase the commodity, and this is the one way of borrowing money, and the other way is that we go to the shopkeeper and we just make the purchases on the borrowings and on the terms of borrowing. And we bring these goods and we consume these goods, and we can say that the commodities are finished. And what will be the consequence? Consequence will be that but we have to pay the debt afterwards. When we have money with us and we have earnings with us, we have to pay pay for this purchased good. But definitely the individual or the investor or buyer will not feel happy and will not feel any pleasure with these types of payments for the commodities which they have already consumed, and this is a sort of the emotional pain or emotional distress or worry. For example, financing the vacations by debt is undesirable, and this is another important aspect which can be analyzed with reference to the mental budgeting and the emotional budgeting and emotional pain and psychological pain. That is, for example, if we want to have and we want to enjoy and we want to have any vacation or holiday and we want to finance our holiday and our vacation with the loan and with the help of debt, this is undesirable, and it will not give us pleasure, and it will not be desired by the investor, because it causes a long term cost on the short term benefit. क्योंकि इसकी जो cost होती है वो long term होती है, because it causes a long term cost on short term benefit. इसका benefit जो होता है वो short होता है, small time period life होती है इसकी, और जो इसकी cost होती है वो long time period cost होती है. People show the preference for matching the length of payment to the length of time the goods or services are used. So what is basically the how they make the preferences, how they set the preferences as far as the payments are concerned, as far as the enjoyment is concerned, how they will make the comparison. They show their preferences with the help of matching the length of payment to the length of time the goods are consumed. That how lengthy and how much time it will take for them to make the payments and to finance the spendings on the purchase of goods and services, and they will compare this time length with the length of the time over which they will consume these commodities, or these commodities will remain with them and to be able to be consumed and to give them utility. And this is a sort of interesting comparison between the length of the times for payments for the goods and services and length of time for the use of goods and services. Economic theories predict the people will consider the present and future costs and benefits when determining a course of action. And what the economic theories forecast, they forecast that as far as the individual are concerned, and they undertake the comparison of different situations and different outcomes in the monetary terms and the economic terms. They compare the monetary terms and on the basis of the present prices, on the basis of the future prices, on the basis of present value and future value, and on the basis of present cost and future cost. And when they undertake this comparison, they will be able to determine, they will be able to decide their action, they will be able to make the decision that what they will do, whether they will undertake the decision and with respect to this investment is concerned, or they will not undertake the investment decision. Contrary to these predictions, people usually consider historic cost when making decisions about the future. And we can say that when they observe the history of the outcome of the decisions, and in order to make the decisions about the future, they properly look at they properly study the previous record of the trends of the trends and behavior of any particular outcomes of any particular decision. So we can say this is another type of the cost that the individual will have to bear in terms of the mental hard work and mental business and activity, and in terms of the time which is spent on the collection of the historical data for this particular decision outcome, and on the observance and the study of the historical data which is available to the individual. This type of behavior is called the sunk cost behavior. The sunk cost behavior effect might be defined as a growth of commitment to continue an effort once an investment in money or time has been made. That is the decision. Sunk cost is basically the growth of the commitment, that when we continue our commitment and in order to continue the effort, that is when the individual keep up with this commitment to undertake any decision, to undertake any activity or any action. And what happens that when investment in money or time has been made, that he has spent money and he has spent time on in particular type of investment, individual think that he will keep up his commitment to continue with his effort, to continue with his particular investment or the particular choice of the portfolio. The sunk cost could be characterized by size and time. That what is the size of the cost, how much in monetary terms how much cost the individual has to bear, and how much cost he has to bear in terms of the time. The size of the sunk cost is very important in decision making. So we can say that the size of the sunk cost can provide a guideline to the investor in order to make the decisions as far as the particular investment is concerned, and so that he can make a good investment, he can make a beneficial investment. The larger amount of money was invested, the stronger the tendency for keep going. So what happens that we can say that individual decides about his decisions in the future with reference to the size of the investment, with reference to the time spent. कि उसने कितना size of effort लगाया है, कितना size of money लगाया है on any particular investment, कितना time period उसने ये project बनाया और उसके ऊपर investment की है. तो what is the consequence, what is the result of this investment? This sunk cost is that larger the amount of money the individual invested, जितनी ज़्यादा मनी उसने इन्वेस्ट की होगी उतना ही ज़्यादा टेंडेंसी होगी कि वो अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजन को कीप अप रखेगा. तो वी कैन से दैट द लार्जर द अमाउंट ऑफ मनी spent on any particular investment, spent on the purchase of any particular item, stronger will be the tendency, stronger will be the decision and the thinking of the investor to keep with his investment and not to withdraw from his investment. And timing in investment decision making is important too. We can say that timings are the time period and the time frame, the spot in time is very much important in order to undertake proper decisions, in order to undertake beneficial decisions which are likely to have positive and beneficial outcome to the investor. The pain of closing a mental account without a benefit decreases with time. So what happens when we undertake a decisions and when we prolong our decisions of investment? For example, when we continue to spend time while deciding on the decision and on the decision making process, what happens if we are likely to have any negative outcome of this, we are likely to have any distress out of this. The pain of the closing a mental account without a benefit decreases with time, and the pain and displeasure are the unhappiness or distress or worrisome of the mental account, it decreases with the passage of the time. And negative impact of sunk cost depreciates over time. So we can say what is the consequence, that if we have done any and we have chosen and we have made any inefficient decision and the outcome was inefficient, outcome was leading towards the losses. So what happens with the passage of time? We will be able to forget the outcome and the pain associated with this particular decision. And this is basically the negative impact of the sunk cost. It depreciates over time. We can say negative aspect of the sunk cost decreases with the passage of time. And decision maker tend to place each investment into separate mental account, और वो अपनी हर इन्वेस्टमेंट को अपने दिमाग के सेपरेट मेंटल अकाउंट में रखते हैं और हर एक प्रॉब्लम को अपने दिमाग के अंदर दूसरे प्रॉब्लम से हर एक्टिविटी को दूसरी एक्टिविटी से दे कीप सेपरेट. And each investment is treated separately and interactions are overlooked. So what happens कि हर investment जो होती है they keep in the mental account separately from the other. So in other words, in simple words, we can say that the individual have a number of small accounts and sub accounts as far as the mental account is concerned, as far as the supreme account is concerned, present in the mind. And why they keep each type of cost from the other cost separate? Why they keep the one type of the investment from the other type of investment separate? Why they keep the benefit of one investment with from the benefit of the other investment as a separate? Because they want to overlook the situation in order to minimize the pain associated between the two type of losses or the joy associated with two type of benefit. And mental budgeting compounds the aversion to selling cost losers. Mental budgeting compounds the aversion to selling losers. And that is they basically they relate the aversion to selling losers. Those who are selling losers, mental budgeting avoid that thinking and avoid to be associated with this type of thinking. As time passes, the purchase of the stock becomes sunk cost, and with the passage of time, the purchase of the stock we would like to neglect it, and we will like to ignore it. And if particularly if we are like to have the negative outcomes out of this investment, it may be less emotionally stressful for the investor to sell the losing stock later as opposed to the earlier. And we can say that if we decide to keep the losing stock with us, and we decide to sell the losing stock afterwards, and we postpone our decision about the sale of the losing stock or the stock which is likely to give less profit, which is likely to give less returns. So we can say the emotional distress or the worrisome level of the emotions may and of the brains may go down. So that is why we can say with the passage of time, the painful thinking decreases and painful emotion decreases. And if we, in other words, we can say that if we keep up the losing assets with us and we sell them at some appropriate time when they are likely to give us positive returns, then it will be a good decision for the sale of the particular type of assets. When investors decide to sell a losing stock, they have a tendency to bundle more than one sale on the same day. For example, we can say that when they decide to sell losing stock, they will decide to sell more than one asset at the same day. So besides making the sale of the one stock which is likely to give him loss, which is likely to give him harms in terms of the monetary benefit, he will decide to sell some other stocks at the same time as well. And we can say that the sale of the other stocks may be beneficial for the investor and may be helpful for the investor to forget the negative aspect and negative side of the outcome of this particular sale which is losing for the investor right now. Investor integrate the sale of losing stocks to aggregate the losses and limit the feeling of the regret to one time period. So we can on the other hand we can say that when individual want to aggregate the losses, so he integrate the sale of losing stock to aggregate the losses. When he aggregate the losses, so he will limit the feeling of regret, he will limit the feelings of unhappiness and displeasure at one time period. और इन सिंपल वर्ड्स हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जब उसको कोई लॉस होता है और जब वो ओवर और लॉस को एग्रीगेट करता है फॉर द पर्टिकुलर टाइम पीरियड, अगर उसने अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट जो है वो 1 साल के लिए की है, 2 के लिए की है, 5 साल के लिए की है, फी इज लाइकली टू हैव द लॉस आउट ऑफ इट, और वो एग्रीगेट लॉस कैलकुलेट करता है, तो ही विल ट्राई टू लिमिट his feelings of having the loss to one time period. वो अपने जो उसकी feelings of distress है, feelings of desperation है, परेशानी है उसको, और जो उसको टेंशन है उसको एक टाइम पीरियड के ऊपर या वन टाइम पीरियड के ऊपर जो है वो उसको फोकस कर देता है और उसके ऊपर वो छोड़ देता है. एंड वी कैन in other words say कि he will likely to be worried about the losses at one time in the time period. पूरे टाइम में जो उसको अवेलेबल है वो एक टाइम के ऊपर परेशान होगा for the aggregate losses made. And alternatively, investors like to separate the sale of the winning stocks over several trading sessions. And दूसरी तरफ क्या होता है कि if we is likely to have the joy of the winning stocks, if individual thinks that he is likely to have positive outcome, he is likely to have the benefit from the sale of certain stocks, और उस स्टॉक को वो फिर कहेगा winning stock और उसको स्टॉक को वो कहेगा winning sale. तो ये जो विनिंग सेल होगी, इट विल बी likely to give him joy, will be likely to give pleasure and the happiness to the investors. And what happens, he will want to he will basically want to enjoy his happiness, he will want to enjoy the positive aspects, positive outcome, beneficial outcomes of his investment, or he will do this and he would like to do this for a long time period. तो हम कह सकते हैं कि वो अपने इमोशंस को लॉन्ग टाइम पीरियड के लिए एंजॉय करता है, जो अपने उसके जॉयफुल इमोशंस हैं, जो उसके प्लेयर के इमोशंस हैं, जो उसकी हैप्पीनेस है, जो उसकी खुशी है, उसको वो लंबे अरसे के लिए एंजॉय करना चाहता है. तो दिस आर बेसिकली ऑल दिस इज हैपनिंग इन द मेंटल बजट. कि जब उसको परेशानी होती है वो इसलिए होती है कि जब उसकी फीलिंग्स जो होती हैं वो वरीड होती हैं, पेनफुल फीलिंग्स होती हैं, और उसकी पेनफुल फीलिंग्स एज फार एज इकोनॉमिक टर्म्स आर कंसर्न दे कम आउट ऑफ द नेगेटिव aspect or negative outcome of any particular investment or any particular purchases of any item or stock. तो वो अपनी जब एग्रीगेट लॉसेस की बात करता है तो वो उनको लिमिट कर देता है वन टाइम पीरियड के लिए, उसी टाइम पीरियड के लिए परेशान होता है, और देन he will try to forget his pain and emotional pain and psychological pain, or he will try to convert his pain in the happiness, in the joy. And जब उसको खुशी मिलती है with reference to the benefit, monetary benefits of his investment, तो वो अपनी खुशी को enjoy करना चाहता है. He will prolong his time period of the happiness and joy. And this was the study done by Lim in 2006. So we can say this is the valid argument, and this is a sort of evidence. Mental accounting also affect investors' perception of portfolio risk. और ये पोर्टफोलियो रिस्क की जो इंडिविजुअल इन्वेस्टर्स परसेप्शन है उसको भी मेंटल अकाउंटिंग जो है वो इफेक्ट करती है कि व्हाट वी डू थिंक इन आवर माइंड, हमारे माइंड में कौन सी पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग है, कौन कौन से नेगेटिव फैक्टर्स हैं जो हमारी थिंकिंग को इफेक्ट करते हैं. ऑल दे इफेक्ट द इन्वेस्टर्स परसेप्शन अबाउट द रिस्क एसोसिएटेड विद दिस portfolio. The tendency to overlook the interaction between investment causes. the investors to misperceive the risk of adding a security to an existing portfolio. तो जो इन्वेस्टमेंट क्लासेस हैं उनके दरमियान में जो इंटरेक्शन होता है उनको वो ओवर लुक करता है, और रिस्क एसोसिएटेड जो होता है विद एनी पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट उसको वो मिसपर्सीव करता है. फॉर एग्जांपल जो रिस्क है अगर वो उसको मिसपर्सीव करता है तो व्हाट हैपेंस के he thinks that he is likely to have higher outcome, high returns of his investment. और अगर वो उसको correctly perceive करता है तो he think that if he is likely to have high returns, he is likely to have a greater fear of the loss of his benefit and loss of his earnings. And in fact, people usually do not think in terms of portfolio risk. In reality, what happens, the people do not take into account the risk associated with the portfolio. Investors evaluate each potential investment as if it were only one investment they will have. और लेकिन इंडिविजुअल इन्वेस्टर जो है वो हर इन्वेस्टमेंट को एवेलुएट करता है, हर इन्वेस्टमेंट की असेसमेंट वर्थ के असेसमेंट करता है इफ इट वर ओनली वन इन्वेस्टमेंट जो करता है. इफ अगर कोई एक इन्वेस्टमेंट है विच इज he is doing or he has decided to make, so he will evaluate and assess the potential of that particular investment, at what is the worth of that investment, what that investment is likely to give to the investor, and what will be the positive outcome of that investment. However, most investors already have portfolio and are considering other investments to add to it. और लेकिन जो investors जिन्होंने already they have decided their portfolio, उन्होंने अपना portfolio choose कर लिया है, they have a number of stocks, number of shares and items, number of assets already decided for their portfolio, already kept in their portfolio, and they are considering other investment to add to it. तो वो नए items को they will decide to purchase to keep in their portfolio set, and then instruments or stocks ko they will decide to, and they will try to keep in their portfolio. Therefore, the most important consideration for the evaluation is, however, the expected risk and returns of the portfolio will change when a new investment is added. Unfortunately, people have double and triple evaluating the interaction between their mental accounts. So, although we can say that when a physical or financial investment is undertaken by the investor, he thinks about it, the expected or high rate of return associated, and also the rate of risk expected which is associated with this portfolio choice, with this investment in the portfolio. So what happens, he will try to evaluate the interaction between the mental accounts. उसके दिमाग में कौन से factors इस वक्त with reference to this portfolio they are working, and उनका आपस में क्या link है, how they are linking with each other. And as far as risk and return are concerned, we know that we have studied in our previous lectures that the return can be calculated with the help of the expected return of the particular investment. And risk का मतलब ये है कि we are having the loss and we are having the fear of doubt, and it can be assessed and calculated with the help of a standard deviation that we have done already in the previous chapters. However, standard deviation measures the risk less of the investment. But now, how the risk of the investment portfolio would change if the investment were added. So we can say, though the standard deviation is an important measure of the level of the risk, but if we decide some other assets to include and to make them as a part of our portfolio, then how the level of risk can be measured. For example, if we have portfolio already we have already decided our portfolio, and what is the portfolio of the investor is equal to the function of different items x and y and z. These are already decided. And for example, if the investor A decides to enter the another factor which is the n factor, n को include करता है and make the part of the portfolio, और portfolio जो है वो will be comprises of x, y and z and n. And these are new items. So definitely we have certain level of risk associated with this already decided portfolio, जिसको हम कहेंगे R naught. और यहाँ पे we have the another type of the risk associated, because we have included we have added another investment as a part of our existing portfolio. Mental accounting sets the basis for segregating different investments in separate accounts and each of them considered as alone evaluating their gains or losses. So we can say that if we have a number of items or shares or stocks present in our portfolio, as we have discussed and we have indicated in this set, for example, our set of portfolio comprises of 3 items X, Y and Z, and return of the X and risk of associated of the X, they are one type of the situation the individual investor is confronted with. We can say return of the X and risk of the X, they are important for the individual investor. Then we can say that return of the Y and risk of the Y, they are another type of the factors which are associated with Y, and similarly risk and return of the X, they are the other factors which are associated with the Z. Individual will have to take into account the plus and minus point and the positive and negative aspects of all these assets in the portfolio separately and in a different way in order to evaluate their gain and in order to evaluate their losses. And people have different mental accounts for each investment goal. उनके डिफरेंट मेंटल अकाउंट होते हैं हर इन्वेस्टमेंट गोल के लिए. फॉर ईच आइटम विच ही हैज kept in his portfolio, there are different mental accounts relevant, and the investor is willing to take different level of risk for each goal, or as far as the risk is associated, there are also respective level of as far as the return is associated, we have respective level of risk associated as well for each goal and for each portfolio item which individual is keeping in his portfolio set. Investments are selected for each mental account by finding assets that match the expected risk and return of the mental account. So we can say that investments in different assets, they are also relevant and related with the mental account of the individual, because individual will have to match the expected risk and the return associated with that particular asset in his portfolio account. Each mental account has an amount of money designated for that particular goal. For example, we can say that mental account has 2 aspects. One is the return associated with the goal, and the other is the risk associated with the goal. And as far as the return is, it indicates the positive outcome and selected for the individual. And if we talk about the risk has negative outcome associated with the decision of the individual investor and in his mental account. As a result, investor portfolio diversification comes from investment goals diversification under from a purposeful investment diversification according to Markowitz portfolio theory. So we can say that as the according to Markowitz portfolio theory, we should have diversified items in our portfolio rather than keeping our items and keeping our all investment in only one asset. And this is very much important point as far as the mental accounts or mental budget is concerned. This means that most investors do not have efficient portfolio, and this is the result of that why the individual investors do not have the emotional portfolio, because they have the return as well as they have the risk, and they want to diversify the outcome, positive outcome of the goal, and then they will also go to diversify their assets as far as the risk is associated. And this is important aspect which basically affect the decision making of the individual as far as the purchase of the items in the decision making and portfolio is concerned. So we can say that the most investors do not have efficient portfolio. They are trying to make they are trying too much risk for the level of expected they are getting. So what happens that the investor, they have to take the lot of risk for the investment they have made, and they are associated with a lot of returns. And this mental account leads to other psychological biases like the dispersion effect, or this mental account जो है, इस mental account की वजह से बहुत सारे psychological biases होते हैं जिनको हम disposition effect कहते हैं. और what are these psychological biases? That we have negative feelings of loss in our budget, and we have negative aspects and negative outcomes of the loss of a particular investment, and this is a part of the mental accounting as well. Then continue with our discussion in the emotion and the investment. We find that how investment might be the emotions in the investor's decision making. Investment decisions are complex and include risk and uncertainty. And in recent years, the psychologists as well as economists have examined the role of condition in decision making. And people who have stronger emotional risk reactions, they have let them impact their financial decisions. And as some researchers conclude, the more complex and uncertain the situation is more emotional in a future decision. And how we can conclude this discussion as far as the psychology is concerned, we can say that the people who are more emotional and who are likely to have strong emotional reactions towards any outcome of the investment, they should be let to impact their financial decisions. That is, they should be free in order to have influence on their financial decisions. And some researchers conclude that more risk and uncertainty a situation is having, the more emotions influences a decision. That is, researchers show through their research that more complex and uncertain the situation is, more emotions influence a decision. That is, the uncertain and emotional decision is likely to affect the outcome to a greater aspect, and the emotions and the uncertainty is likely to affect the outcomes of the decisions of the individual to a greater extent. Of course, the background feeling for our mood may influence the investment analysis. तो इन्वेस्टमेंट एनालिसिस जो होता है बैकग्राउंड फीलिंग्स की वजह से और इन्वेस्टर के मूड की वजह से बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट होता है. मूड इफेक्ट द प्रेडिक्शंस ऑफ द पीपल अबाउट द फ्यूचर. इससे फ्यूचर की प्रेडिक्शंस का पता चलता है कि फ्यूचर के बारे में कोई भी लोग जो है वो किस तरह से प्रेडिक्ट करते हैं. एंड पीपल ऑफन मिस एट्रीब्यूट द मूड दे आर इन देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजन. और वो अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजन में बहुत दफ़ा मिस एट्रीब्यूट अपने मूड को करते हैं, अपने मूड को ख़राब कर लेते हैं. और वे डेफिनेटली इट विल प्रेडिक्ट डिफरेंट डिसीजंस अबाउट द फ्यूचर आउटकम. एंड दिस इज नॉन एज मेंटल people who often misattribute the mood they are in their investment decisions, and this is known as misattribution of the bias. For example, this basically means कि जब individual investor जो है वो कोई decision लेता है about the investment, and they have the previous experience, they have previous information, record about the trends of the different factors associated with this particular investment, and sometimes वो अपने mood को ऐसे ही ख़राब कर लेते हैं. They have emotional distress, they feel emotional desperation कि उनकी investment जो है वो ठीक नहीं है, उनका decision जो है वो with respect to the investment in this particular share ठीक नहीं है. क्योंकि जब उनके दिमाग में आर्गूमेंट आते हैं, they are more and more arguments are rising in their mind, and they have to face with those arguments, and some arguments are likely to affect the decision positive, some are likely to affect the decision negative. उसमें अच्छे ख्याल भी आते हैं, बुरे ख्याल भी आते हैं. और when there is the fight and contradiction and conflict of these arguments and these opinions with reference to the particular investment, sometimes it happens कि individual may misperceive the situation through his emotional pains, और वो अपना मूड ख़राब कर लेते हैं कि उसका डिसीजन जो है वो ठीक नहीं है, and his decision is likely to give him bad outcome and is not likely to give him joyful and the pleasure outcome. और ये मिस एट्रीब्यूट क्या इंडिकेट करती है कि दे थिंक दैट देयर प्रॉफिट विल बी not as much as they have thought, and is not as much as they have been seen in the previous trades. This is known as misattribution bias. Okay, we misattribute the different real factors with the situation prevailing in the market. people who are in bad mood are more pessimistic about the future than people who are in good mood. तो we can say कि जो लोग bad mood में होते हैं, जिनका मूड ख़राब होता है with reference to their decisions in the investment, वो बहुत pessimistic होते हैं, उन्होंने अच्छे ख्याल नहीं बनाए होते about the future, उनकी अच्छी थिंकिंग नहीं होती about the outcomes in their investment in the future time period. तो that is why we say that they are more pessimistic people than people who are in good mood. Rather के जो लोग good mood हैं, तो जो कि अच्छे mood में हैं, वो they are likely to have optimistic future return, and they are likely to have optimistic outcome out of their future investment, and they are likely to have more positive benefits and profit in the future time period from making their investment, from making their purchases for the portfolio. Translating to the behavior of investor, it means that investors who are in good mood give a higher probability of good events and positive changes happening, and lower probability of bad changes happening. So if we translate the behavior of the individual with reference to the feeling, तो what happens कि जिन लोगों का with reference to the investment जिनका मूड ठीक नहीं होता, and those who are having and likely to have bad mood, and they are pessimistic, वो pessimistic होते हैं, और those who are having good mood, they are optimistic, they think that they are likely to have good opportunities in the future, and they are likely to have positive outcome in the future. So pessimistic approach shows that the people, they continue to think that they are likely to have negative impact and negative outcome of their investments, and they are likely to have losses out of their investments as compared to those who are having good mood, who make their decisions happily, and who made their decisions with relaxation as far as their future decision making is concerned, and they think that their decisions are good, and they will give some good aspect and good and beneficial outcome to the individual decision maker, and this a lower probability of bad changes happening. एंड इसकी वजह से पॉजिटिव चेंजेस जो होती हैं, वो फ्रीक्वेंट चेंजेस जो होती हैं, गुड इवेंट्स जो होते हैं, दे एक्सपेक्ट टू हैव, and on the other hand a lower probability of bad changes happening, और bad changes जो होती है उनकी lower probability होती है for such people, वो क्योंकि उनका good mood होता है, they are anticipating the situation will remain good, they will likely to have good outcome, and उनकी जो bad feelings होती है उनका proportion इस situation में कम हो जाता है, और bad feelings के proportion के कम होने की वजह से definitely we can say that individual investors, they will be able to enjoy their investment, they will be able to enjoy the outcomes of their investment, and they will feel that they are likely to have good mood. And this is the 2 days this was the 2 days lecture, and now we will end with this lecture, and at the end of the lecture we will try to summarize what we have done throughout our lecture. And as far as the contents of today's lecture are concerned, we did the cognitive dissonance, we discussed mental accounting and investing, and sunk cost and mental budgeting, and then we started doing the emotions and investment. And cognitive dissonance basically arises from the two types of the arguments which come up in our brain, and they are conflicting arguments, they are fighting with each other. One is that what decision I have made as far as our investment for the portfolio is concerned, and it was a good decision, and I am nice, and I is likely to have positive outcome of our investment. This is the good idea and positive aspect of our thinking. On the other hand, we have negative side or negative image and negative sort of thinking which tells us that which basically force the individual to think about that the investment he has made is not good anymore, and it is not a nice investment, it is not likely to give profit to the individual investor, and is not likely to give him a positive benefit out of the investment. This is the psychological emotions of the individuals which are likely to raise these type of opinions and thinking in the mind of the individual. And to avoid these, and definitely the pains are associated when we think we are not good enough to make the optimum decisions, and we rather we can have good decisions, and these are associated with the bad pains, or we can say psychological and emotional pains. And what is the solution to this, that we should reject the information that contradicts and that violates our personality, that comments have negative comments on the positive aspects and images of personality, and we avoid this cognitive dissonance in two ways. First is that we can investor can fail to make the proper decisions. It is uncomfortable to consider this situation. And second is filtering new information and limits the ability to evaluate the investor's portfolio and investor decision. And therefore we can say that investor can reduce the psychological pain by adjusting their belief about the assess of the past information decisions. For example, if made the individual invest in the shares and stock of some company, and individual over time think that the decisions were good, and he think that he is nice enough, and he think that he is nice enough to pick and to select that particular type of the investment or the stock, and we can say the investor tries to reduce the cognitive dissonance. And the brain will filter out the negative arguments out of his brain in order to out of his mind, in order to have the positive, and in order to go through the positive aspect associated with this investment. And we can these type of decisions which we basically made in wrong ways, they are based on the past behavior of the variable, past experience of the variable, and these past experience, even if they and past record, even if they lead to the bad outcome of the investment, we can say that we have the bias upward and we have overestimated the situation. And a brain uses the mental budget as far as the mental accounting is concerned to associate the benefit of the consumption and cost of the consumption with the benefit of the emotional thinking and the cost of the emotional thinking. So we can say that as in the capital budgeting and monetary budgeting, we have revenues and the cost. Similarly, we have the emotional pains and joys as far as the mental budgeting is concerned, and we will try to make the situation in such a way. We will try to go through such thinking, go through such observations which are likely to overcome the mental painful situation, and which are likely to make us optimistic, and which are likely to minimize the level of the painful emotions and feelings. And then we have the sunk cost. Concept of sunk cost is basically that the growth of the commitment to continue an effort, that how much we are committed to grow our the decision about the decided item of the asset, what asset we have decided to purchase. Then timing of the budgeting is very much important, that at what time we undertake any type of budget. For example, if it happens that when we undertake the investment may depreciate over time. And mental budgeting is that the purchase of the stock becomes a sunk cost as the time passes. That as time passes and goes on, the purchase of stock becomes sunk cost. And investors integrate the sale of the losing stock to aggregate the losses and limit the feelings of regret for one time period. That is, they will express their feelings of the bad outcome, feelings of the pain to some time period, specific time, and they will we can say that they will limit their time period of enjoyment for as a result of any bad outcome. And when they are likely to have positive outcome, they will definitely prolong their enjoyment with reference to the positive outcome of that particular investment for the portfolio. And mental accounting also reflect from, we can say mental accounting also reflects investors' perception of portfolio risk and tendency to overlook the interaction between investment causes. Investors misperceive the level of adding a security to the existing portfolio, because the number of the assets which are present in our portfolio, each is having its own level of return and its respective risk level. And if we misperceive the overall level of risk of all the assets which are present in our portfolio, so this can lead us to the risk of adding another asset in the portfolio of the individual. In fact, people do not think in terms of portfolio risk. As far as mental budgeting is concerned, people have different mental accounts for each investment goal, and they are likely to set their goals, and for each goal there is respective level of the risk associated, and the investments are selected for each mental account by finding assets that match the expected risk and return of mental account. Each mental account has an amount of money designated for that particular goal, and according to Markowitz theory, we can say that there is diversification of investment goals rather than the purposeful diversification of the investment goals. And this was the 2 days lectures, and I hope you will be able to understand the concept that we have discussed here in the light of the discussion of the lecture, and in the light of the slides that we have done over here, and in the light of reading materials. Take care of yourself up till next lecture, and see you in next class inshallah. Up till that, Allah Hafiz.